So hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Michaela and I am a college student. And so I know this is decision day for most of you and you're probably really excited, you just committed to a school, or maybe some of you still haven't actually made your decision yet. I know this time last year was kind of a stressful time for me. I didn't really know what I was doing. I committed like the night before. And so I'm kind of sitting here revisiting that decision since it is May 1st, and I'm thinking about two of the schools I was considering, Miami and Penn, and I thought it'd be fun to just do a little comparison of UPenn versus Miami. Did I make the right decision? This video is part 3 of 3 of my little Penn series that I'm doing in conjunction with Bullseye. Bullseye is a college admissions and test prep company that helps students achieve their college dreams. They match students one-on-one with advisors who are alums from top colleges around the country like UPenn, Harvard, Yale, Stanford, Duke, etc. And students get like one-on-one advising sessions with that mentor. And what's great is that they're the cheapest college consulting service, and they do a best price match guarantee, so you should definitely check that out. And you can get a free 20-minute session by going to the link below, which is joinbullseye.com/Michaela, so go check that out. A lot of you may have been put in a place where you're having to choose between a better financial aid package, better scholarships versus the school you maybe thought you were going to go to. And I just want to say I definitely relate to that. And so I wanted to just sit here and show kind of the different factors I based my decision on, and so you guys can kind of see like what I was thinking throughout that whole process. So yeah, I have like a bunch of factors listed that we're going to talk about. My parents will definitely have their own opinions on the matter. We were not necessarily all in agreement on the decision on the day it happened. So this will be a little interesting to kind of go through it. So yeah, let's just get started. So the first thing I considered, just with all the schools I was applying to, is location. Location is very important because obviously if you're someone who likes to always have a ton of things to do out in the city somewhere and you choose a college that's in a very rural area, that might be too much of a shock for you. Or maybe you want more of a quiet campus and you don't want it to be very open to the public, so then you would want that kind of smaller environment. So I just kind of want to hear from my parents on what they thought about the locations of these two colleges, Penn and Miami. Mom, what did you think?
Location-wise, I mean, I think it just depends on what you want. I actually like the fact that Miami is kind of outside of the city and kind of in a suburban area. And if you want to get into the city, you can. And of course, who doesn't love warm weather?
Yeah, I definitely agree with them on this. I like that I have access to a city but don't actually have to like be in it directly all the time. So yeah, I gotta say Miami wins on this one, in my opinion. Obviously, depends on your own preferences though. And then the second factor I was going to talk about, but we all kind of covered it already, is weather. For me, I like warm weather. I like warm weather. I visited Philly, visited Penn, as you guys have seen, when it was like awful. I think it was 20-something degrees when I was there.
Oh my
The
gosh.
feels like is 10 degrees
Feels like
right
9.
now.
You know it's 9.
9 degrees?
Feels like 9.
Why is it so cold? And I was like, I can't wait to leave. So I definitely have to say Miami wins the weather card for me. Hurricanes are probably our one weather issue. The next thing is campus. So campus size, campus walkability, like the niceness of the buildings, the views are all things to look at when considering where you want to go. So what did you guys think about the two campuses?
I think the campus at Penn, of course, it's older because it's a more historic institution. So they have very beautiful, older, classic type buildings with some modern buildings. Miami, a lot more modern, a lot more updated. You know, you can really see the more current architecture at play. The campus is a lot younger. And of course, they have a lake on campus, which makes for a very beautiful campus. Any campus with lake and palm trees, so it makes for quite a picturesque campus.
Yeah, the size of both campuses is definitely good. Like, they're both like that medium-sized campus that I prefer. And I like being able to walk the whole length of the campus, so they both fit that well. So I really like the whole palm trees and like being able to sit outside every day. So I think in that case, I do prefer the campus of Miami, so Miami does win this one. The next category we're going into is the dorms. I would say neither of the dorms are very great. I know our dorms are pretty awful when I was staying in mine. I mean, I got used to it, so it didn't feel that bad in my opinion, like once I got used to it. But yeah, the Penn dorms are also pretty tiny. I think my dorm at Miami might have been slightly bigger, even though I already thought ours was pretty tiny. I think ours were bigger than Penn's. Like there's like this much space between the beds. Like, it was crazy. And their bathrooms were co-ed, so guys and girls were in the same bathroom, sink, showers, yeah. But at Miami, it's gender separated floors, so there's not even guys on your same floor. I definitely preferred Miami's dorms, even though it wasn't thriving, but we will have a really awesome new housing village next year that is gonna be insane. I'm gonna have a really nice apartment with my friends, so considering all of that, I would definitely say Miami wins the dorm game there. But I don't think either was probably the best college dorm you're gonna see, just in my opinion. And next up, we have dining, both on and off campus dining. So Miami dining is, it's all right. Like, it's not my favorite, but there are like options for what you want. I will say when I was at Penn, I was kind of enjoying the dining a bit more. I thought the breakfast was really good, but students there don't seem to really like it that much. So maybe it's just because I was only there for a little bit and they eat it every single day. But off campus, since Penn is right in the heart of Philly, obviously there's gonna be lots of food options like within walking distance. Miami, you're not really gonna be walking to get food anywhere off campus. It's like a pretty decent walk to go anywhere, and most people just tend to use like Uber Eats, Grubhub, blah, blah, blah. But using those apps, there's lots of great food options. So I do enjoy doing that like once a week when I have the funds.
It costs twice as much as it would.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't do that very often. Yeah, I would just kind of I'm just gonna give it a tie. I don't know enough. Our next category is campus culture. So I think that this kind of includes like personalities of students, what people do in their free time, school spirit. Are people seen outside socializing a lot? Are people kind of more isolated? All of that culture and community wrapped up in one.
And I think one of the things we noticed at Penn, although it was very different when you were there recently when it was very cold, but when we visited it, it had actually snowed, I guess, the day before. But the campus was bustling. Like, there were a lot of people out walking, people were doing things. There was a fair going on, I think an organization's fair or something. So a lot of tables were set up and people were out, which kind of surprised us because the day before, I think we were at Princeton, and nothing was happening.
Yeah.
So that kind of made it very interesting that people were out, but I guess when the temperature drops to 27 and 14 or something, with wind chill, all that goes away. Whereas on the other hand, Miami, with the weather and all, you're going to see a lot of activity most of the time on campus.
I feel like the school spirit compared to Miami school spirit is so strong. People wear like Miami clothes every single day. Like, people love their green and orange, even though it should be an ugly color combination. Like, people love wearing it anyway, just because it's Miami. And since like it's always warm, like you can always be outside. I sit outside and do homework with my friends every single day. So it's like, there's so much socialization that's like very apparent at all times of the year that I feel like that's like such a like huge contribution to its campus culture. It's hard to compare with a school I haven't actually been a part of the culture of, but for me, I got to give it to Miami on this one.
And if I could add one more thing to it, I think a big part as well is if you're into sports or sports things around sports, I think that contributes to a campus culture. A lot of people know what the U is around the country, if not around the world, because of its sports reputation.
Yeah, everyone dresses up for game day. Game day clothes is a huge thing, like finding cute game day clothes. Our second to last category is academics. So I feel like we already know who's gonna win this one, but we will still break it down, and I will still say my piece, but you guys can share your thoughts on this.
Yeah, I would say this was probably the biggest sticking point between the schools. Certainly, anyone who knows anything about Penn knows that Penn's reputation is stellar. And Miami does not have as rich of a business school reputation, so we were a little bit concerned about that, to be honest. But the more we researched it, the more we were impressed with the faculty and the direction that they're trying to go with the program. So we think in the end, everything will be fine.
I mean, it's Wharton. I mean, what else can you say? I mean, it's the number one, ranked business school.
Miami academics are great, contrary to a lot of people's popular beliefs. And like, if you couldn't tell, I'm studying business. So obviously, like, Wharton is like number one business school in the country. So, or number two, maybe Olin is higher, I don't know. But, so yeah, definitely, like, I'm going to hand it to Penn, but I will say, like, Miami is basing a lot of its business school practices on like things that Wharton is doing. So they definitely are like the front runner of academics, and Miami is trying to definitely like get there. So I do think that while our academics are amazing, Penn wins this fight. Okay, the very last category, and arguably the most important, and probably where the weight of many people's college decisions is put on, the total cost of attendance. So this was kind of the point where it really made my decision hard. I had a full scholarship to Miami, you can tell from the title of this video, and I had like not a ton of financial aid from Penn, and Penn doesn't give any merit aid at all, along with any of the other Ivies, along with a lot of the top ranked schools, because they have so many like amazing smart kids. So I feel like with a lot of people, this is kind of what makes or breaks their college decision. So how are you guys feeling about that price stamp and how I could have made my decision based off of it?
Well, it kind of came down to a cost-benefit analysis. It really came down to that she had a full ride offer from Miami versus the partial scholarship offer from Penn. It was going to cost a good bit of money to be able to attend Penn versus the potentially higher starting salary, potentially more demand for her as a graduate coming out of Penn based on its reputation and what you do read about starting salaries and so forth. But the cost of that would have been paying back loans over a number of years.
And we have friends that were sending their kids to school, St. John's and Caleb, and they are still paying off their student loans themselves. So we certainly did not want that to be the case. Michaela, didn't want to paying off her student loans when her kids were ready to go to college. So that was another thing to consider too.
And I want to clear up, my decision, it wasn't like Penn was like my number one my whole life or anything like that. It wasn't even like necessarily my number one throughout the college process. I literally didn't know where I wanted to go at all. Like Miami was always a very strong contender, but having that extra boost of scholarship money definitely is what made it a lot more favorable in my eyes. I did not want to be broke graduating. I figured I would have, a good salary if I came from Penn, but I didn't want to still have to pay off those loans for the rest of my life. I wanted to be able to actually keep what I was making when I graduated. However Miami's business program was, I knew I was going to make the most of it, always seek out opportunities. So I wasn't really worried that I wasn't going to have a good value coming from Miami at all. And also, just to add another layer, these 2 schools were not my only 2 schools I was considering either. I applied to 16 schools, and actually at the end, Georgia Tech was one that was actually coming more into play as an affordable option because I do live in Atlanta, it's in-state tuition, and I had a scholarship there too, so it ended up being more between Miami and Tech at the very last stage of my decision process. But yeah, these are all the factors I was considering just for all my schools, but I definitely wanted to put it through this lens since I just visited this campus a couple months ago and kind of got a feel for that and did have a little bit of flashback into my decision process, and it actually made me feel a lot more assured in my final decision. So obviously my grand crown through this whole process, I award to Miami for being the best school. I loved my whole first year here, even though it did get cut kind of short and I'm stuck at home right now quarantining. So I'm very happy with my decision I made, and I think my parents now are happy with my decision. Maybe.
There was still uncertainty going in when we even took you down there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And I think that we're proud of you and the process you took in making your decision. Whether we agreed totally with it or not, you approached it rationally. You looked at the financial component, you looked at the academic component and the social, and you made a good, smart, balanced decision, which is what we hope we instilled in you.
Yeah, it definitely feels good to, have my parents' support now with my decision. And we are a Miami family.
Yeah.
There's still Tech family too, but also Miami family.
We're only divided when they play each other.
Exactly. But thank you guys so much for watching. And please feel free to drop a comment below if there's any other questions you have. If you want to send me a DM on Instagram, feel free to do that. I might take a few days to respond, but I promise I will get to it eventually. So yeah, thank you guys for watching.